why your kids want to watch the same show over and over and over again, and 5 reasons why that's a good thing, from licensed therapist and playful parenting professional, Roya Dato. The first reason is that when we watch something over and over again, we lose the surprise, right? There's no adrenaline. You know what to expect. You know what the next person's going to say and when they're going to say it. And instead of it getting boring, for a lot of us, that actually equals comfort. It's nice to be able to slow down and not worry about the character's well-being, not worry about what's going to happen next, not be on tenterhooks, right? Just to be able to relax and get the comfort from that show that you know. There's something really wonderfully relaxing and restful about knowing what's going to happen, knowing the words that they're going to say, knowing the outcome of something. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that we get to experience storytelling through every angle. And what I mean by this is that when you watch a show, you and your attention is very purposefully directed, right? The makers of that show use lighting, costume design, cinematography, dialogue, all these pieces to direct you where to look and what to see and what story they're telling. So when you watch something multiple times, you're able to move away from that pretty specifically directed storyline, and you can pay a lot more attention to like what the other background actors are doing or what's happening in the scene behind the 2 main characters, things like that. So you get to see all the subtext, you get to see different storylines, you get to pay a lot more richer attention to all the different elements of storytelling. You can also start to pull it apart. So it's not just the reaction that you have while you're watching, but you can start to really see, how they use the camera angles or how they use the costume design when you've gone through it multiple times. Number 3 is connections, mastery, and brain development. It is a good thing to make that kind of connection. It's a really healthy thing for our brains to be able to watch something and not just get the initial story, but also to be able to have the time to think, that person was also in this movie, and that reminds me of this thing, and weren't they over here and in that, and I wonder where they're from, that accent is strange, and look at the type of car they're driving in that scene, that leads to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These connections that we can make when we have the time to relax and soak up the same material over and over and over again is a really big part of our actual organic brain development. It helps our brains develop. It helps our brains become healthier. We need that kind of connection over and over and over. I think of it as like little hooks that get hung in your brain. The first time you see something, it's a little hook. And then after that, it's like something gets looped on that hook and again and again. And that's how you keep developing and how you keep making connections. We need this. It's good for us. Number 4 is ambient sociability. We are sociable creatures, most of us as humans, but sometimes we don't need to be on, right? We don't need to be on stage ourselves. We don't need to be in a group where we're getting feedback. Sometimes it's nice just to have the kind of presence of people around us, and TV shows can do that. And when you watch the same show over and over and over again, you get to know them, right? You get to know the personalities, you get to know their character development, their character arc. And so it kind of satisfies that part in us that wants people around, but sometimes without the pressure of us having to be a participating people. So ambient sociability is a normal and healthy thing to want, and we can get it from watching the same material over and over and over again. And the last one is that you can't step in the same river twice. And what I mean by this is even if you watch something over and over again, you are a different person when you watch it. So it's not really the same show. It might be the same recording, the dialogue is the same, whatever the content is the same, but you are different now. You have gone through things. You have developed further. You have other things happening in your life. And so when you watch the same show again and then again and again, sometimes it can be like the measuring stick that we can look at ourselves up against and see how we've grown or how we've changed. It's sometimes like a mirror that we look at, that it can reflect us back at ourselves. So you can't step in the same river twice because the river is always changing, in the same way that you really can't watch the same TV show twice because you are always changing. So that list right here that you just saw, I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but that is a list of 50 more of these kinds of videos that I have done or am doing. So follow along for more. I'll talk to y'all later.